Building Change series of webinars. Hope you're all safe and sound in your homes while we continue to bring the world's leading experts to you. So today we have with us Mr. Debashish Das. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Debashish is a corporate leader who has held various line management and leadership roles, as now a successful entrepreneur. He is the founder and CEO of iLinkers HR Solutions, a transformational HR consulting firm offering solutions in leadership coaching, organization development, leadership and behavioral development areas. He is an HR, OD and training specialist with over 20 years experience in all areas of HR across diverse sectors such as manufacturing, IT and telecom. He has successfully worked and delivered projects across various domains, offering solutions in the areas of strategy management, culture and communication, business transformation, leadership development, goal and vision alignment, amongst various other critical deliveries. This helps in planning and executing business and organization building relevant deliverables through HR for business growth. A globally accredited coach by ICC, he's deeply involved in executive coaching and leadership levels. And Devashish has worked with over 70 plus brands as consultant to create impactful change and has various case studies of organizational change. Um, Mr. Das, welcome here and thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you so much, Suruchi. Thank you very much for inviting me over, and this is really nice of you. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Das, to start with, my first question to you is, according to you, how are the state of affairs in the HR industry right now? And what do you think the scenario would look like further ahead in 2020?
Well, I think HR has always been the function which is a go-to function for anything which has got to do with either a business growth transformation or a scenario of disruption as we see today. And I think these are the times which are the much called for function in the organization today is HR. So all the HR people in the industry today are putting their minds together to keep the motivation and morale high. One of the 2-3 things which everybody in the HR leadership in any organization across the world is doing is to keep the morale, motivation, and the dialogue of people very high. That's the top of the agenda thing today, because people are in a very unusual circumstance and scenario all around them. They are isolated, they are locked in, they are not, this is not something which is usual. People are not used to this. And particularly when we are having a significant amount of workforce, which is a millennial or a young workforce, it's very difficult for them to be caged inside their home and do their work, and very difficult. So HR is actually coming out and stepping up to take care of the emotional part, the dialogue part, the connect part. So that's what is being done. And I would say that even the Prime Minister today, who is the CEO of the country, is also perhaps playing the role of HR. We have seen him once engaging everybody by putting together our plates to create a lot of sound, and that is motivating. And also recently when he asked everybody to light up the lamp. So I think this is the most critical time for HR people, and all the HR people, my fraternity members in HR, are actually realizing this. They're dialoguing at all levels. At NHRD also, which I am a member in Gurgaon, National Human Resource Development Body, there's a lot of focus on what needs to be the role of HR in these turbulent times. So I think that's what HR is working on at this point in time.
So, having a bigger HR workforce in bigger companies especially is a lot of help. But what can you do about startups who probably, would have just one HR person or probably two? So these are the companies which run the risk of shutting down. So how do they keep their employees motivated during this time?
A very good question. I am also one of the SMEs, and I run a mid-sized company, and I understand the pain of a small and medium enterprise today. They are the ones who are running the businesses through their own passion, their own drive and enthusiasm. My suggestion to the SMEs and the mid-sized companies are, first and foremost, now, please do not delegate to the business owners. My suggestion and input is that do not delegate the people practices to HR department anymore. One of the mistakes which business owners do is that they concentrate a lot on the business, but on the people assets, they leave it to departments to manage it. I have nothing against it, but these are very different times. I would ask the business owners to display leadership, and they should motivate the people by doing only one thing, which is communicate and connect. My advice is that please pick up the phone, talk to all the employees. If you have 20 people, 200 people, or 1000 people, take out time and talk to as many people as you can throughout the day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just talk to them, ask them, how are you doing? I am around with you. This is your company as well. Talk to their family, talk to their children, ask them about what they are doing at home. Ask them, are they feeling comfortable? Open up the financials to them. Don't hide anything. Transparency is very important in times of crisis. If you tell the people the problem which you have, rather than trying to act like a hero and say, no, no, there is no problem, sab theek ho jayega. Instead of saying that, be vulnerable, be human. You're also affected and they know it. So open up transparently and tell them that, look, these are the finances. My personal finances are also weak. My business finances are also this condition. Be with me for some more time. These are tough times and we are a team together. And after this period is over, we will all be together. Layoff is definitely not one of the ideas I will suggest, because the mistake which business owners do in SME is they reduce the number of people. That should not be done. Tell them that maybe I will not be able to pay you full salary now. I will be able to pay you some part of it, but let the times be better and give them the reason why you're not able to do it. It's not that you are having money coming into your bank and you're not paying it. Tell them that business has stopped, whatever is the condition. If you can pay, pay them. If you can't, then and then there are things you have to prioritize. If it's between salary to people and other expenses, salary to people should be the first priority. Because one thing, please remember, today in lockdown, your plants have machine, they have electricity, they have power, they have raw material. The reason why they are not generating revenue is people. So when this time will change, when people will come back to work, they will remember all what the business leaders have done and displayed. So please remember, the full circle will happen. And at that point of time, if you have not shown character at the time of crisis, if you have not shown courage and entrepreneurship at the time of distress, you will not be one of the top places to go for employees. So that's my suggestion. Even one person company, HR should not feel demotivated. Take advice, talk to experts, attend webinars like these or many other webinars. Understand what new practices are and communicate to people. Don't give up. Things will be fine.
Totally well said. So communication is the key here. Until you communicate what you're feeling to people, and it works both ways. I mean, of course, startup entrepreneurs are also feeling, the brunt of it things, and of course, the employees would also have to understand it works both ways. So yeah, totally agree. Till you communicate, it's not going to become clearer or better.
Absolutely.
Abhishek, with regards to continuing services during the lockdown, of course, we were just discussing there are many people who continue to work remotely from their homes, like we were discussing. And most of them are battling stress, frustration, and lack of coordination outside the office setting because they're not used to it. So, how can they keep up the performance and continue to deliver efficiently?
One of my articles recently, which I had written and a video also, I had spoken about the home office to be a reality. And soon you will see that that will become a reality, because this experience has actually, there is a silver lining to every situation. So what we have seen is that people are realizing the benefits of home office as well. And the challenge is basically coming to people who are, young people who are in the youth. They are facing the challenge more. It's not that others are not facing it, because we have never imagined that a scenario of work from home or home office will ever come up. We have all designed our homes in such a manner. The vastu of the home, the aura of the home is always stress free. So you don't bring your home, you don't bring office to your home. You always keep it separate. But suddenly you are seeing that the demands of the home, which is, to some people, even the domestic course they're participating in, that's also becoming a challenge. Plus, you are also meeting your deadlines of con calls, webinars, Excel sheets, reports, presentations. So it's creating a huge amount of stress. Plus, young people are not able to go. So my suggestion to them is that look at this as a silver lining. Think of the 1.5 hour journey you were making to reach office. That's being cut. You can just take a few steps and find a place inside your home and just be committed to work. I think it will require some discipline and some adjustment. And my suggestion to people who are feeling the frustration, that would be perhaps because they want to just go out and have an outlet, maybe have a coffee break. They used to have a coffee break or a smoke break or a chat break. I think that you can still do. Pick up your balcony. Whoever you are at your home, just you can create your own breakout space. You can make one small corner of your house as a breakout space. So I think it's a very interesting and a creative way to work. My suggestion to them will be that orient yourself to a scenario that there were a lot of effort you were making to get up and go to office and all that. That is getting cut. You are more productive now. You have more time available to you to work. I know it's difficult to practice, easy to say, but we have to make the best of the situation we are in. So if you're feeling stressed, there are a lot of videos, there are a lot of webinars, there are a lot of things which you can do and create your thanks to technology. Participate in all of that. Use your time more productively. Fitness is very important. Keep yourself fit. I think those are few things which perhaps I would like to suggest people who are finding the work from home environment. And technology is there with us. So it is not so difficult to work from home, but yeah, there is a factor of we wanting to break out, etc. That can be taken care of.
So do you think the trend is here to stay? I mean, even after the lockdown is over, or probably the coronavirus spread goes away, do you think we'll continue working from home?
Yes, I think so. I think so because we have seen there are a lot of benefits of a home office. And regularly, the agenda for discussion has been cost cutting and optimization of resources. This will be one of the directions which will give a lot of organizations an idea to strengthen the home office. Provide the equipments and devices to employees and work from home. A lot of benefits are there. You have like right now we are having a webinar, and thanks to technology, it is equally effective. If we are physically met. So I think those kind of opportunities will be explored more, and I think there will be a significant amount of focus on home offices also in the times to come. I see, yes, that happens. Sure.
So employee advocacy does not always meet business realities, especially like we're seeing in the current times. So is it possible that tough decisions will have to be taken by the companies? And what advice would you like to give to the employees out of the situation?
The employee advocacy does not mean that we take our eyes off from the business reality. It is a balance. That's what employee advocacy is all about. However, my first advice to organizations, small or big, is layoff will never pay off. So it is better not to take that route because it is a scenario which the employees also as much forced into as the businesses are. Employees in February never anticipated that something like this will happen in March. So I think it's something which has come very suddenly, unfortunately, to everybody. So the first suggestion to organizations is that don't look at getting rid of people as the first choice. There are various other options. You can dialogue, you can talk to employees. Employees are sensible. And there are people who will be creating reactions because of the anxiety and panic, and they're justified. They have a family to take care of, they have EMIs, they have taken up a lot of loans from the bank, etc. So they're worried about all of that. So if there is some amount of talking, and that is where the role of HR also comes in terms of having a dialogue, coaching with them, having managerial capabilities developed, so that managers are now better communicators. They listen to the trauma and the bad part of the emotion. I think if those things are done, employees must be listened to. This is the time when you have to listen to the employee. Employee will speak a lot. Sometimes they will speak from the heart, sometimes they will speak from the mind, but they have worries and anxieties. So my suggestion is, on one side, the organizations must tell the employees that, look, we are not considering this as the first option. But in case we are taking it, then we will ensure that you are not uncomfortable. And if the push comes to shove and we have to finally take that call of letting go of some people, I think it has to be the responsibility of the organization to tell them that, look, it is just a temporary phase. Once things are better, then they're not at fault. They can be always called back. To the employees, my suggestion is that it is tough, it is sad, but understand that there are some business realities, and you can upgrade your skills. You can look at various other options which are available, and if the organization can help them find some avenues to sustain for a period of 3 to 6 months, this will all pass by. So I think this is a balanced approach from both the sides which needs to be taken, and I think it can work very, very well.
Actually, so far we've been talking about employees or people who have jobs right now. But some of the people who are probably facing the most, troubling times are the people who don't have jobs right now and struggling, looking for jobs. So this time probably, would be a nightmare for them. So what is the most important advice that you would like to give them about help with their job hunt?
Well, I see an opportunity again. I see again a silver lining emerging somewhere. And again, this is mentioned in one of my writers, which I had mentioned 15 days back, is that I see the return of the Gen X and baby boomers coming back. The gray haired generation, I also am one of them, by the way, will be more in demand. And the reason for that is after the crisis is over, when you have to restabilize the whole thing, when the turbulence is gone, you will need people with experience to immediately come back and settle up the things. So people who are in the age of 45 to 55, who are the high risk people because they are very costly resources to the company, my suggestion to them is upskill yourself. This is the time, and jobs of the future will not be dependent upon the institute you come from, the degrees you hold, the number of years of experience you have, or whatever past successes you have had. COVID-19 and post era of COVID-19 has brought everybody to the same level. So we are all at the same level. It's a great leveler, by the way. So it's a restart time for all of us. Upskill yourself, understand what are the new trends and skills required, what are the new competencies needed. So this is a good time if there are people who are perhaps looking for job. I would suggest that don't look for job. First, build your skills. First, build your competencies. Participate in webinars which are available. I mean, this webinar or any other webinar. There are many webinars happening every day. Read books, go through videos and identify new skill and avenues. There are many of them available. Take up freelancing for some time if you can, and keep yourself occupied. Obviously, this is not the best time for jobs to come up because we are all in a crisis. So, looking for jobs is a good activity, but then there's only that much success you can get. Keep yourself occupied, keep yourself updated, use this time to strengthen your skills and competencies. To the millennials, and recently there was an article which talked about MBA institutes and engineering colleges also having challenge in placing their students. So to the young generation, my advice will be again, uh, just hang on there, don't give up. It is a tough time. We are all in very unusual times. Is job, keep on looking for job and assignment, but whatever you're getting, if you're getting an assignment which is perhaps you are finding, no, it's not paying me as much as I would have expected it to pay, or the role is not as glorified as I was thinking it was, or a great KRA, take it up. Being occupied today is more important than making choices of what you will do. That's what I would recommend. Being a very prudent and practical advice at this point in time.
Keep yourself updated and upskilled, and jobs are sure to come. Where are they going to go? So, Devshi, the COVID-19 has resulted in a lot of changes in the corporate strategy across all divisions. So, what are some of the major changes in the HR strategy across businesses in the light of COVID-19? And can we expect them to outlast the current pandemic?
One of the big strategic HR changes in the organization today is to prepare for some risk like this, which is completely unheard of. I mean, the organization in the strategic framework had never factored that there will be a work from home scenario. They had never factored that there will be need for remote management skills. So, for example, when we talk about one of the key strategies which are required is how to develop the competencies and how to develop the managerial skills of people to manage workforce remotely. When you are managing workforce offline, then there are various opportunities to engage, interact with people, and you have a lot of scope available to communicate and manage your deliverables. But when you are actually online, there is a lot of limitation of communication which you have. And as a result of that, you have to be a better listener, you have to be a better influencer, you cannot be a hard taskmaster. That is something which perhaps will be now the focus of HR in terms of developing managerial competency. How to manage emotions and maintain morale and motivation will be one of the strategic focus areas in a disruptive environment like this. Because what has been realized now is people assets have been the most significant factors affected in a business disruptive environment or a business continuity scenario. If you see all around us, it is people who are not available. Machines are static, they're lying there. But the ones who are getting affected, getting ill, getting treated are people. So how do we ensure that I don't wish that something like this happens ever again, but there could be some other scenario, we call it a force de majeure, acts of natural disaster. In something like this, we had always thought of force de majeure as earth, fire, earthquake, and things like that. This is something like a small virus, and no, nothing has been done, but everything is locked out. The world is locked out together. So it is new for everybody. I think it will be a lot of great learning for all of us. We will all evolve better, well planned. At the HR desks also, a lot of brainstorming is happening as to building scenarios to ensure business continuity happens. So one of the big strategic focus of HR is to maintain business continuity in scenarios which are absolutely true VUCA scenarios, we call them, totally VUCA scenarios. And this is one of the biggest example of a VUCA scenario we have seen. There cannot be nothing more ambiguous and uncertain than what we are going through right now. So that's why I think what is the agenda on the table for HR leaders at this point in time.
So I'd just like to tell our audience as well that we're taking the last question from Debashish, and we'll be open to questions from them as well after this. So, Debashish, any other advice that you would like to give all the professionals out there who are there in the battle with us to survive the current pandemic?
I think I would put this into three perspectives. One will be to the business leaders in the corporate and HR leaders, is that build competencies within the organizations, managerial competencies within the organization to be better people managers in a remote working environment. They should be able to develop better listening skills. They should be able to empathize and understand the unstated talks of what the people are saying. Develop trust, because what happens in a remote working environment is the amount of trust is very, very low. You are always worried about somebody is working from home. Is he just roaming around or is he working really? There are biases and prejudices. If you are working from home in a t-shirt, people are thinking, no, you're just hanging out. I mean, are you serious about this? Is not the right way to work. So I think organizations have to train their managers to keep a balance between the definition of discipline, the definition of productivity has to be restated. That's from the corporate point of view. From the SME business owner point of view, my advice to you will be, don't give up. Remember and understand now that people assets are not costs, they are investments. I work with a lot of SMEs in the business growth consulting as well, and I am an SME myself. And SMEs are always crunched for money. The ecosystem for an SME is, how it is. It is always crunched. You are on your own. So whenever there is an opportunity to reduce cost, people cost is the first thing. which is always taken as the first priority. Don't do that, please. People assets should be protected, and things will revive. They will only give you back. To all the people who are young out of the campuses and they're coming into the industry, these are very different and difficult times, and my best wishes and empathies to you. It is not the best time to pass out of colleges, but don't give up. You are the future of our country. This will pass. Finally, to everybody, have hope. India is the great nation. We are fighting this better than anybody else in the world. And we will come out of it in the best possible manner than anybody else in the world. So have hope.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Devashi. It's been a pleasure having you.